In this video, we're going to be learning how a brand that is doing $40 million every year is converting cold traffic into customers and how you can do the same thing for your own brand. Specifically, we're going to be looking at their cold traffic funnel and breaking down the landing pages and the offer structures that they're using to convert this cold traffic. So with that said, let's dive straight into the video. Just before we get into it, some proof that I'm qualified to speak on the topic of growing e-commerce brands. Just a quick refresh on the dashboard for one of our clients last 12 months. You can see $9 million in revenue. We do help e-commerce brands scale to that 8-figure range. And the way that we do that is through customer acquisition, customer retention services. We help brands with paid ads, ad creative, CRO, email marketing, SMS marketing, and more. And if that is something you're interested in getting help with for your own brand, there'll be a link below this video. You can go to my website, we can book a call, we can have a conversation and see if there's a fit for us to work together. So the brand that we're going to be going through today is this brand called Blueland. Blueland sell eco-friendly cleaning products for the home. They sell laundry detergent tablets, they sell dish tablets, toilet, hand soap, etc., right? They're currently getting 634,000 monthly visits. A lot of the revenue they generate comes from their existing subscribers and those recurring subscriptions. Means this brand is doing around $40 million a year in revenue. The first thing I want to look at is the specific landing pages and offers that they're using to convert cold traffic, and specifically the ones that they're driving meta ad traffic to. They're running a lot of meta ads. They're very heavy on meta ads. They're running over 1,000 different ad creatives. And on top of that, they're running a good mix of images, videos, both these professional style both these professional style videos as we can see here, but also these UGC videos we can see here. Okay, so we're not going to go through all the ads today. Maybe that's for another video. But there's another thing that I want to point out here is that this video is very founder-led. This founder, Sarah, she's featured in a lot of the ads, she's featured on the website, and her story shines through, right? So if you're a founder and you run a brand, you're afraid to be on camera, trust me, just get in front of the camera, get over that fear, because you can produce content, you can put your face over the website, the story of the brand. People want to buy into a story and they want to buy from a person, right? They don't want to buy from a company. They want to buy from someone else that they can resonate with. So if you have a story that you can tell for your own brand, I'd highly recommend you do that, because it's going to be a great means of converting cold traffic, but also it's a means of generating more content. So the pages that this brand is driving meta ads traffic to is 3 main pages. We're going to be going through them all here. One is this landing page, another one is directly to this PDP, and another one is a build your own bundle and save. I just want to start with this PDP, and this is very interesting because the majority of the meta ads traffic has been driven to this page. And this is a bundled kit where there's multiple products bundled together. And some things that I want to point out here about this PDP that work very, very well is, first of all, the AOV, right? The AOV is $98. If someone purchases this, it's immediate $98. And then if they do happen to, have some sort of upsell throughout the checkout process, then that can bring it over $100. And this is key to scaling. As you increase ad spend on Meta, as you get to 5K per day and beyond, then the efficiency you start to see from the CPAs that you're getting starts to decline. And while there's multiple ways to combat that, one of the levers that you can pull is average order value. Now, some of you might be running brands where the price of the product itself already puts the AOV at a good range, right? Maybe you're selling tech, maybe you're selling something that's high end. But for the brand owners where your individual product prices are $20, $30, $50, then bundling is a great way to increase average order value, and I'd highly recommend you do that. We've gone through multiple different examples on my channel around quantity break offers, right? One of my favorite ones is this one from Whiffs, this pet supplement company, where basically they're saying you can buy the same product but just buy multiple quantities of it, and by doing so you save more, right? So you can get a 2-month supply, 4-month supply, 6-month supply. This is another example, and this works best for consumer products where you're selling the multiple units of the same product. In the case of this offer right here from Blueland, a pre-built structured offer, and calling it a kit, starter kit, clean suite kit as we see here, then it's great. It's a great way to pair multiple different types of products together. And the cool thing about this is that they're giving all these different products away, but it's for the full home, right? It covers pretty much everything you need. And then guess what? Likely when you receive the products, there's an insert card in the packaging that says get refills, right? And this is where they're driving the subscribers. So they're getting introduction to the brand with a starter kit, high AOV. We can, acquire customers efficiently through meta ads. And then what we're doing is we're getting people into these refills, right? These $12, $21, etc. refills. That is the recurring revenue on the back end. Okay, so that's where the LTV comes. It's interesting to think about maybe how you could apply that to your own brand. And the next thing here is that because the offer itself is strong, they're not even using landing pages before this to educate the consumer, because the ads are strong, the offer is strong, and then there's enough information on the PDP that this is working, right? They're driving a lot of traffic directly to this page, as I mentioned. And there's actually another brand in the US, Branch Basics, similar size brand, selling pretty much the exact same products, and they're also driving traffic to this premium starter kit. Price a little bit lower, $75. However, it's the same thing. Driving to the same page, driving it to a pre-built bundle, a starter kit, right? Something that is an introduction to the brand, and then the refills come on the back end. This model, it works. The structure, the offer structure works, as we can see here. There's multiple 8 figures, even 9 figures in revenue that are behind these offers that are proven to work. So, I'd highly recommend structuring something like this if your products allow for it. So this is the clean suite kit. This is a starter pack. This is a page that they're driving some traffic to. and it's basically this whole idea around mom clean. Now, I've seen them run a lot of ads around this messaging. Obviously, they found some sort of subsegment of the audience who are moms who love to clean. Obviously, they've looked at their target audience, they've looked at their buyers. The majority of them are likely moms, and they're framing this as not just clean, but mom clean. The fact that mom clean is like better than just standard cleaning, and basically what they're doing is they're framing it as caring for others means a higher standard for what clean actually means. And this whole idea of, caring for your children, your pets, around, the kind of products that you're using around your home. And then this button right here, it takes them to a collections page where they can shop the Clean Sweep Kit, tablet trio, etc. So the interesting thing about this page is it's more of like a shop buy page, where if you scroll down, you see that they can shop starter kits, dish, laundry, toilet, etc., etc. And there's not a ton of education going on here, which is interesting for me to see, because usually you'd have some sort of page in between that acts as an education. Maybe these products don't need that much education because it's pretty straightforward what it is. But if your product does require the education, I'd recommend having a page in between where maybe it's a listicle. We've gone through listicles on my channel before, but listicles is one. You have like inverted PDP structure. You can also have quiz funnels, which work exceptionally well. And that is a means of educating customers on your solution. And these landing pages are a perfect way to educate customers on the solution and then introduce them to your product. And finally, the third landing page that I want to share with you guys is this build your own bundle and save. Again, this, when we're talking about bundling, it's perfect for, increasing average order value. This is really if you have a wide range of SKUs, wide range of products. Even if you have multiple of the same product, maybe it's different flavors, maybe it's different colors, sizes, patterns, designs, whatever it is, this can apply to apparel, it can apply to furniture, it can apply to skincare, like anything it is, right? It can apply to a lot of different categories. So what we're seeing from Blueland here is that you can create your own custom starter set bundle with up to 4 products and save up to 15%. Okay, so it's still kind of the more you buy, the more you save. But what we're doing is we're allowing customers to choose the individual products, but also, what scent they want, and then of course the quantity of each, right? So if I can add this to bundle, you'll see that, it adds on the right hand side here, and then, I can add other products. And as we get to the 4th, that's when we unlock save 15%, right? Now I can check out with less. I don't get the savings until the 4th. And again, guess what this is doing, right? It's increasing average order value. You see the average order value jumps up to £70 here, but depending on the products you choose, this can be higher, maybe a little bit lower. But yeah, that's really the goal here, is increasing average order value. This brand recognizes it. A lot of other 8-figure, 9-figure brands recognize that, and they structure their offer in a way where average order value is high enough for them to actually go on Meta and pay for the acquisition of customers. So we've spoken a lot about Meta ads and acquiring cold traffic from Meta ads. I want to share something that is very, very helpful in driving down CPAs when we're talking about efficiency, and that is organic social. A lot of brands don't do this because they don't see the direct ROI from it, but having a powerful Instagram and producing a lot of content that is engaging, that shows different faces of the brand, that restates brand values and really brings a face into the brand is very, very powerful. Because guess what? When someone sees your ads, they're not going to purchase directly, right? Maybe if your product is $10, $15, $20, but if you want them to spend $100 on the first purchase, they're not going to purchase on that first ad that they see, right? They're going to go to your website, they're going to go to the landing page, but more importantly, they're going to come to your Instagram, right? And they're going to look, what is it? Is this brand, legit, right? What are the reviews? And then they're going to come here. They're going to see, first of all, there's a ton of followers. By the way, you don't need a ton of followers just to, prove that you're a real brand, right? You could have 20k followers, but you could have great content, amazing content, engaging content that shows different aspects of the brand, and that is enough to increase that conversion rate, because a customer is going to be more likely to purchase from you if that comes across through your Instagram. And you can see here, if we just saw ads for Mom Clean and we come here and we're also seeing Mom Clean, then there's coherence there, there's congruency. And you see the same thing as well with the colors, the yellows, the blues. If we go to the landing pages, we can see the same things, we see the same colors, and again, this creates a coherent message, coherent look and feel across the funnel that just makes the path to purchase a lot more seamless. Now we can see as well, their founder is featured in a lot of Instagram content, right? They're creating a lot of videos. Like, she's creating a lot of videos herself, but also she's a mom. And you see that the first pinned post is a founding story. So you see how powerful this is when it comes to selling your products. As I mentioned at the start of this video, if you're scared of getting in front of camera, get over that fear and get in front of camera, right? And start selling, because it's going to do wonders for your brand. And as you continue scaling as a brand, if you don't have time to create content, then I'd recommend having some sort of brand spokesperson or someone who is the face for your brand on social media to create these kind of videos and be that person, be that face that's really attracting customers into the brand. Aside from the founder videos, they've latched onto kind of trending videos from TikTok, and they've applied them to their own brand. So this video here, where you just have text on the screen, extremely easy to produce. And they're using, one of the angles of like microplastics in bottles, and then positioning themselves as a better option with their reusable bottles. And just one thing to jump back to this Clean Sweep Kit, it's not just about the average order value, it's also about conversion rate. And when I'm thinking about conversion rate and average order value, I'm never thinking of these numbers in isolation, right? Because they affect each other. Just generally speaking, the more you increase your price, the more your conversion rate drops, and vice versa. So we need to be looking at these metrics in balance and understanding what is the right balance of average order value and conversion rate that we should aim for in order to achieve profitable customer acquisition, okay? So one great way to think about this is that you can take your average order value number and you can multiply that by your conversion rate number, take away the percentage sign. So let's just say your average order value is 100 and your conversion rate is 2%. You would do 100 times 2, and that would give you 200. Now, what you want to try and aim towards is 250. And the closer you are to 250, it gives you more room to go out and acquire customers from platforms like Meta and Google, especially as you continue to scale where, your CPAs are going to naturally increase. So when it comes to conversion rate, obviously, there's a lot we can dive into here. Then just some quick fire things. The social proof is very, very important. This brand obviously has a lot of reviews, but you just want to make sure this is very easy to navigate to. Like, a lot of people are going to read your reviews. If you can have some sort of gallery of photos that have been submitted by customers, it's always great. But then you also want to have, you want to have some bad reviews just so that it seems like it's legit. Some brands hide all their bad reviews, and I think, if you have 5-star rating with tons of reviews, it's just unrealistic. So you want to have some balance there. But as long as, there's a overwhelming amount of good reviews compared to the bad ones, that's what really matters. This PPO right here is very, very simple. Some other things, some ways that I think this can actually be improved is you take this product image carousel and you create infographics out of it, right? Because this is prime real estate, right? Especially when someone's coming on a mobile, it's the first thing they see. So we need to, if we can get more information across and education across in these images, then we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. It's actually something that Branch Basics, the brand that we just had a look at earlier on, is doing very, very well, where they're actually integrating these, if we just scroll through here, these infographics where basically you're adding text to the images, because we're using the images of the product anyway, but now we can start adding these products, right? They have this little GIF here as well, where, step 1, step 2, step 3, which I think is very, very smart. They're consolidating what could have been 3 different images into 1 GIF. It adds more, movement, animation, and then, they have human safe as our promise. Basically what you can do is you can take the questions that customers have in their mind as they come to your brand, come to your page, and you can start to answer those questions in the right order, your product images, right? So just a great way to think about it. You can also take common FAQs, such as this one. Maybe people ask, why do the bottles come empty? They have an explanation here. Customers don't have to go hunting for FAQs. Instead, they get the answers right here on the page. So that is really it for this video. Just wanted to share the different landing pages and offer structures that this brand is using to convert cold traffic into customers. Specifically, we went through, the importance of average order value, conversion rate today, but also building these bundles to allow you to increase the average order value so that you have more room to acquire cold traffic from platforms like Meta and Google. All right. If you're looking for a partner to help you scale your e-commerce brand to 8 figures, then as I mentioned, there's a link below this video. You can go to my website, we can book a call. We can have a chat about your brand, current situation, challenges, and your objectives, and ultimately see if there's a fit for us to work together. We only work with a handful of brands, so the majority of business we do turn away. We do want to make sure it's a perfect fit if we want to do any work together. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.